You ever feel like no matter what you do, it's never good enough? Like you're running a marathon, but the finish line keeps moving? Like the people who are supposed to love you the most, the ones who gave you life, just don't see your worth, as if you're a ghost in your own home? Imagine being called useless every single day by your own parents. Not just a passing insult, but a constant, dripping poison that seeps into your soul, corroding your sense of self. It's like being trapped in a room with invisible walls, where every breath is a struggle, and every word is a weapon. Now, imagine secretly recording everything. Every whispered insult, every dismissive glance, every soul-crushing word. What happens when the truth, raw and unfiltered, finally comes out? What happens when the very people who built you try to tear you down, and you have the evidence to prove it? This is my story. A story of pain, resilience, and the desperate search for validation. And trust me, you'll want to stay till the end. Because what I captured, those hidden recordings, those fragments of truth, changed my life forever. They became the keys to unlocking a prison I didn't even know I was in. Growing up, my world was a constant state of disappointment. It was as if I was born with a scarlet lettered on my forehead, a mark of inadequacy that no amount of effort could erase. My parents, the architects of my existence, never seemed to believe in the blueprint they had created. No matter what I did, whether it was staying up late to study for tests, earning straight A's, volunteering at the local soup kitchen, or simply trying to be a good, obedient child, it was never, ever enough. It was as if I was performing a play, but they had already decided the ending was a tragedy. "You're so useless." The words echoed through the house, bouncing off the walls, embedding themselves into my psyche. It was a daily mantra, a cruel lullaby that played on repeat. Why can't you be more like your brother? The comparison was a constant, a shadow that loomed over every achievement, every attempt at self-improvement. My brother, the golden child, the embodiment of everything I wasn't. "You'll never amount to anything." A prophecy, a curse, a sentence handed down by the very people who were supposed to be my protectors. These weren't just words, they were weapons, sharp and precise, designed to inflict maximum damage. At first, I thought maybe they were right. Maybe I was the problem. Maybe I was inherently flawed, a defective product of their lineage. Maybe I wasn't good enough, not smart enough, not strong enough, not worthy of their love. But deep down, amidst the swirling chaos of self-doubt, something told me otherwise. A tiny voice, almost drowned out by the cacophony of criticism, whispered that there was more to the story. Then one day, amidst the despair, an idea flickered in my mind, a desperate attempt to grasp at some semblance of truth. What if I recorded everything? Not just to prove a point, not just to document the abuse, but to truly understand, was I really as worthless as they said? Or was there something deeper, something more complex, something hidden beneath the surface of their harsh words? Was I a victim of their own unhealed wounds? Was I a mirror reflecting their own insecurities? I had to know. I had to find the truth, even if it meant confronting the darkness that lurked within my own home. I started small, a covert operation in my own home. My phone, my lifeline, became my secret weapon. Hidden in my pocket, tucked under my pillow, placed strategically on the kitchen counter, it became the silent witness to my daily torment. I started recording casual conversations, seemingly innocuous interactions that masked a deeper, more sinister reality. At first, I didn't even know what I was looking for. I was like a blind person searching for a light switch in a dark room, hoping to stumble upon something that would illuminate the truth. But as I played back the recordings at night, alone in the sanctuary of my room, the headphones pressed tightly against my ears, I started noticing things. Subtle nuances, hidden tones, unspoken resentments. It wasn't just me. My parents, the architects of my pain, had their own struggles, their own demons. Financial stress, the constant pressure of bills and deadlines, arguments that echoed through the house like thunder, and their own childhood traumas, wounds that had never fully healed. And somehow, in their pain, in their frustration, I had become their emotional punching bag, the convenient target for their unresolved issues. But here's where it gets even crazier, where the plot thickened like a dark, viscous liquid. One night, I left my phone recording at the dinner table, strategically placed amidst the clutter of plates and utensils. I excused myself to the bathroom, feigning a sudden need, leaving the device to capture the unguarded moments. When I listened back, the sound of their voices, usually a source of dread, now held a strange, morbid fascination. I heard my mom say something that shook me to my core, something that shattered the illusion of my worthlessness. "He's not useless," she said, her voice barely a whisper, a secret confession. "He just reminds me too much of myself." Wait, what? The words hung in the air, suspended in time, defying logic. For the first time, a crack appeared in the wall of my perception. I realized. Their words, their insults, their constant criticism weren't really about me. They were about them, about their own insecurities, their own fears, their own unresolved issues. But that still didn't excuse how they treated me. That still didn't justify the pain they inflicted. So I kept recording, driven by a desperate need to understand, to unravel the tangled web of their motivations. And then, I caught something I never expected, something that would change everything, something that would force them to confront the truth they had so carefully hidden. For the first time, I felt a sliver of understanding, a fragile bridge spanning the chasm between their words and my reality. Their cruelty wasn't a reflection of my inherent worthlessness, but a distorted mirror reflecting their own fractured selves. Yet, this revelation didn't absolve them. It didn't erase the years of pain, the countless nights spent crying myself to sleep, the constant gnawing feeling that I was fundamentally unlovable. Understanding their motivations didn't make the wounds any less real. It was like discovering that the person stabbing you was doing it out of fear, not malice. It still hurt just as much. The realization that their words were a projection of their own insecurities only fueled my determination to uncover the full truth. I became a meticulous observer, a silent auditor of their lives. I listened to their conversations, watched their interactions, and analyzed their behavior with a newfound intensity. I wasn't just looking for evidence of their abuse, I was searching for the root cause, the hidden trauma that had turned them into the people they were. I continued to record, documenting every interaction, every whispered insult, every dismissive glance. My phone became my confidant, my silent partner in this quest for truth. Each recording was a piece of a puzzle, a fragment of a story that I was determined to piece together. And then, I caught something I never expected. Something that would shatter my preconceived notions, something that would force me to confront the complexities of human nature, something that would ultimately change the course of our lives. It was a moment of unguarded vulnerability, a slip of the tongue, a glimpse behind the carefully constructed facade. What was it? What hidden truth did I uncover? What secret did they reveal that would change everything? The anticipation was a tight coil in my stomach, a mix of fear and hope. I knew that whatever I was about to hear would be a turning point, a moment of reckoning. One evening, the air in the house was thick with tension. My dad, usually stoic and reserved, was pacing back and forth, his brow furrowed, his eyes filled with a restless energy. He was on the phone, his voice low and urgent, talking to my uncle. I was in my room, pretending to study, but my ears were straining to catch every word. My phone, as always, was nearby, recording everything. I had placed it strategically on my desk, near the open door, ensuring that it would capture their conversation. My dad's voice, usually a source of dread, now held a strange, almost vulnerable quality. I heard him say, "I know we're too hard on him. But if we don't toughen him up, the world will eat him alive." The words hung in the air, suspended in time, like a confession. It was as if a veil had been lifted, revealing the hidden motivations behind their cruelty. My parents weren't calling me useless because they truly believed it. They were doing it because they thought it would prepare me for life, to shield me from the harsh realities of the world. They were trying to build a fortress around me, but they were using bricks of pain and mortar of criticism. That moment hit me like a truck, a sudden, jarring collision with the truth. It was a revelation that shattered my understanding of their behavior. They weren't trying to destroy me, they were trying to protect me, albeit in a deeply flawed and damaging way. Their love was twisted, distorted, expressed through harsh words and relentless criticism. They were like gardeners pruning a delicate plant with a chainsaw, believing that they were making it stronger. But was that fair? Was it fair to inflict so much pain in the name of protection? Was it fair to break someone down in the hope of building them up? Was it fair to sacrifice my self-esteem, my sense of worth, on the altar of their misguided love? These questions swirled in my mind, creating a whirlwind of confusion and anger. I felt a surge of resentment, a deep-seated anger at their methods. But I also felt a flicker of understanding, a sense of empathy for their fears and insecurities. It was a complex mix of emotions, a tangled web of love and pain, understanding and resentment. How many of us have been told we're not good enough? How many of us have had people put us down, not because we were incapable, but because they were scared? Scared that we might fail, that we might stumble and fall, that we might get hurt, that we might not survive the harsh realities of the real world. How many of us have been subjected to the well-intentioned but deeply damaging attempts of others to toughen us up? It's a universal human experience, this struggle to reconcile the love we receive with the pain we endure. We live in a world where fear often masquerades as love, where criticism is mistaken for guidance, where breaking someone down is seen as a way to build them up. But here's the truth, a truth that I learned through my own painful journey: you don't make someone stronger by breaking them down. You make them stronger by lifting them up, by believing in them, by nurturing their potential, by providing a safe space for them to grow and flourish. We all carry the scars of past wounds, the echoes of harsh words, the weight of unfulfilled expectations. But we also carry the potential for resilience, the capacity for healing, the power to redefine our own worth. We are not defined by the limitations imposed on us by others, but by the strength we find within ourselves. And when I finally confronted my parents with everything I had recorded, with the raw, unfiltered truth of their words, their reactions were something I never saw coming. It was a moment of reckoning, a confrontation with the consequences of their actions, a chance for them to confront their own demons. It was a moment that would either break us apart or bring us closer together, a moment that would define the future of our family. The confrontation was a tense, almost unbearable moment. I sat them down at the kitchen table, the same table where countless meals had been shared, where countless arguments had erupted, where countless tears had been shed. I placed my phone in the center of the table, a silent witness to our history, a repository of our secrets. I pressed play, and the recordings filled the room, the echoes of their words reverberating through the space. Every insult, every doubt, every private conversation where they admitted their motivations, played out like a tragic symphony. At first, they were silent, their faces pale, their eyes filled with a mix of shock and shame. They listened, their bodies rigid, their breaths shallow, as the truth unfolded before them. Then, my mom started crying. Tears streamed down her face, a torrent of remorse and regret. She apologized, her voice trembling, her words choked with emotion. For the first time in my life, she actually apologized, not with a dismissive "I'm sorry you feel that way," but with a genuine, heartfelt apology. She acknowledged the pain she had caused, the damage she had inflicted, the love she had withheld. My dad? He didn't say much. He sat there, his gaze fixed on the table, his face etched with regret. But the next morning, he did something he never did before. He made me breakfast. Pancakes, my favorite, cooked with a care and attention that I had never seen from him. And while we sat there eating, the silence between us heavy but not hostile, he looked at me, his eyes filled with a tenderness that I had never witnessed, and said, "I'm proud of you." The words were simple, but they carried the weight of 1,000 unspoken emotions. They were a balm to my wounded soul, a validation of my worth, a testament to my resilience. I can't even describe how much that meant, how much those 3 words changed everything. It was like a long, dark winter finally giving way to spring, a thawing of the emotional ice that had surrounded us for so long. We all have people in our lives who don't see our worth, who try to diminish us, who try to define us by their own limitations. But that doesn't mean we have to believe them. That doesn't mean we have to internalize their negativity, to accept their judgments as our truth. Sometimes, the way people treat us has nothing to do with us and everything to do with them. Their actions are a reflection of their own insecurities, their own fears, their own unresolved issues. So if you've ever been called useless, if you've ever felt like you weren't enough, If you've ever doubted your own worth, let me tell you something: you are more than enough. You are worthy of love, respect, and validation. You are capable of achieving your dreams, of overcoming your challenges, of creating a life that is meaningful and fulfilling. And the only person who gets to decide your worth is you. Not your parents, not your friends, not your teachers, not society. You are the author of your own story, the architect of your own destiny. You have the power to define yourself, to create your own reality, to embrace your own worth.